everybody.
Stand by.
We are live.
Hello, Twitch.
Hi.
That's what we're
Hello,
on.
Twitch.
We are live.
Oh, dear God. Eris is waving again.
Sorry, Ben, I didn't warn you about the wave.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no worries.
I need to go live on the base.
That's
Live
my
on the
welcome
base.
to Twitch wave.
Hello, the base radio, and we are now live on you as well.
Hello, base.
Hello, base. Hello, Twitch. How are you?
How are you guys doing?
Everybody say hi to Ben.
Ben Lesnick is
Hey,
here.
everybody.
And they're coming in slowly. There we go. Okay. So yeah, welcome to INNverse the Verse, episode 6. As the title says, now with 100% more Ben Lesnick.
Thank you very much. Happy to be here.
So we took a few questions ahead of time on Reddit, by email, by like a million things, and Ben was kind enough to grace us with his presence for an hour or so and answer these wonderful, wonderful questions.
Yes, we got a lot of people clamoring for Ben to notice them. So
Yes.
Hello,
It was pretty
people
much
I
just
may or may not. I can't
pretty
actually
much just
see
noticing
the
Ben.
Twitch feed, but hey,
it's okay. We'll curate. It's probably best that way.
all right. Well,
Should we begin with our first question?
yeah. I'm waiting for chat to actually react here. There we go.
Oh, they are. They are.
Okay.
So I guess our first question is as follows. Hi, Ben. Long-time listener, first-time caller. What's it like working with Disco Lando every day, sitting so close to him, even living next door to him? Is this a dream come true or many dreams come true? And this comes from Disco Lando himself.
well, there's the cylinder right there. And
Oh, jeez.
there's
Hi, Lando.
like to live and work with you. Awesome.
Live and work. No. So live and work with him or live and work with me?
For me to work with you.
You asked
Oh,
the
that's
question,
amazing.
Lando.
Lando, it's your question.
Nobody look at his monitors.
Oh.
No, it actually he's a fantastic addition to the team, and I'm quite fond of Lando. We do live in the same building now. It's kind of a nerd fantasy. We Star Wars out a lot. It's pretty great. Living the dream.
Excellent. Well, Ben,
I
this is
don't know
a
if you can laugh.
testament to your this is a testament to your popularity. We have 103 viewers on the stream right now, which is double the amount than when I gave away Reliant. So you are more popular than Miss
Well,
Reliant.
hello, additional 51 and a half people. Where were you last week?
Yeah, that's a good question. Where was everyone last week?
That guy has missile evaded emotes, and I love them. Okay. All right. So since this is my show, I'm gonna ask the first question, the first actual question, because yeah, it's my show. Haha. So Ben, I'm actually a ship collector. This is going to be my occupation in the verse, and since I'm probably going to make money by renting them out and letting people use them, and probably conquering by the time I get to the bigger ships. So with things like the Cartual and the Scythe and things like that, the descriptions for each of the ships says that the cockpits were modified so that humans can use them. Now, if I capture just a random alien ship, or even if that's possible, do I have to then modify the ship so I can fly it?
Yes, you do. not to spoil this week's ATV too much, but ShipShape is actually talking about exactly that. We shot it this afternoon with Lisa
Awesome.
talking about the in-universe process of how the sites get their human-style cockpit. So tune in on Thursday for that. But yes, we would could have added thought into that.
Why are you talking about Scythe, Ben? I don't actually have a Scythe, so it really doesn't matter to me.
Yeah, nobody really has a Scythe, and we're not going to sell it again, but we will make it available to subscribers, and we'll do like fly-free weeks and have other ways in the game so you can experience. So everybody will get a chance at some point to at least try it out.
Hooray!
Although, you know, everybody's always like, oh, it's pay to win, all these people have the Scythe thing. No, it's going to be the worst ship in the game. You're not winning anything.
I want to ram things with it. It's got
It's what we all
huge
spend
blade
all our
on it.
time killing already. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then my other question that relates to my endless. See, I want to be Space Jay Leno. That's what I've called it. So like Jay Leno collects like all the exotic cars and things, but I want to be that in Star Citizen.
But you're even less
Most likable
discriminating
thing
than
about
Jay
Jay
Leno.
I don't have the chin.
ugh.
Yeah, so it hasn't been talked about for a long time, but how big are our hangars gonna get?
Really big. Right now, it was a constant battle when we were kind of focused on the hangar modules. How do we expand it? Because I think there was one backer who had like 137 ships. We're like, okay, this is our watermark. We have to support this. And we went back and forth on that for a while. And the tech is there, but it breaks most computers. So
And that's
they will be bigger than they are. By the time the actual game happens, you should be able to see all your ships. Maybe not in one view. You might go to a different level of your hangar, but they will expand beyond the current, whatever it is, 5 slots.
Have you seen those Japanese parking garages that like take your car and like load it up?
Actually, I
thinking
think
like
back
that.
to that was actually the very original pitch for the hangar. I remember sitting around the tiny little table in Austin with Eric and Rob and everybody. We were like, how are we going to make these work? And somebody brought in pictures of those, and we're like, okay, well, you can go from level to level, and it'll turn. And so, yeah, we've actually been thinking about those for a long time.
That's awesome. Yay.
So
And then I think somebody found like concept art from the G.I. Joe movie that showed a really cool hangar, and that set us in a different direction. I can see if I can find that in my notes somewhere. It was like some amazing piece of like an aircraft hangar, and it had like all these futuristic SR-71 looking things, and we couldn't figure out what it was when we saw it in the meeting, and we looked it up later, and it was like, this is the G.I. Joe movie?
that's the weirdest place to get inspiration from.
Hey, that designer's probably great. You probably got paid a lot of money to do that.
Yeah, that's one thing I'm finding about designers in Hollywood.
How
But
is
it
it
actually-
with all the different designers that you guys work with? Like, you contract out for a lot of the shipped art and stuff, right?
We do. We go for most of the time. Most of the time, we go for kind of a more known, experienced concept artist, somebody from Hollywood, because Chris has worked with all these people. And one of the cool things is that most of them view it as more of like a hobby than it gets them away from whatever movie they're on to design a spaceship and have like pure control over that. So we work with a lot of good people, and they're really into it, which is nice.
That's cool.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
You get people like George Hall. Like, he's a legend.
Yeah, Jim Martin was the one that just shocks me. Like, this guy designed the Defiant. I grew up watching Deep Space Nine. How am I telling this guy how to change his spaceship?
That actually,
So, dream come true or best dream come true?
It's pretty cool.
that actually, now that you mentioned the Reliant, or no, I'm thinking the Defiant.
I said we're Defiant, but we also have a Reliant.
Yes. No, actually, I was thinking like the Star Trek Defiant. Is there anything you can tell us about the Aspera Prowler?
No.
Oh, okay. That's like my dream ship right there.
I can tell you it's the least fleshed out. In fact, I think it's
Yeah.
the only one of those ships that has not been given a concept artist yet.
Yeah, I figured
but
as much.
it's coming.
Is that because
much closer.
Is that because the Tavarn haven't been really fleshed out either?
To some degree. I think we kind of through all those wave 3 or wave 4, whatever the last wave of ships was, to our art department, and they were like, "Oh, we want to do this one, we want to do this one, we want to do this one." It's kind of like it's the last kid that's being picked for sports.
Poor Prowler.
But it'll come. It'll be cool when it does. But we're a lot further along on the Endeavor and the Starliner.
Cool.
Those are getting close.
Genesis. Speaking of the Endeavor, I've got a quick question. To make sure that we've got content every day over on INN, I've been doing every Sunday I've been doing a short story about life on an Endeavor, a Hope class Endeavor. Is there any more news about what it'll be like at all? Anything? I'm running out of things to write about.
I wish I could tell you.
That's okay.
Think tubes. There's a lot of tubes on it.
Okay, I'll take tubes.
Tubes. I mean,
I'll take that.
Okay.
That's really scary, by the way. Disco Lando's just standing behind you, shaking his head at us.
You get scary now. You just see when it happens in the middle of the night.
So I have a kind of a question about the branding of the Hope class. Will it be called like the Hope, the Endeavor Hope class, or just the Misk Hope class?
It'll be the Hope class. In fact, we're kind of moving it. It's still up in the air, but we're thinking make it a little bit more distinct from the Endeavor, so it'll be a different Misk ship, but similar in size and a lot of the base parts for swapping out. But you'll see the Endeavor first, and then the Hope later.
Okay.
Awesome.
So I don't really want to ask too many questions about FPS because we all know it's coming and it'll.
No, feel free. I am great at dodging questions. If there's how to dodge questions.
I'm just wondering because I guess last week you had all said that there was going to be a bunch of playtesting for the FPS. I'm just wondering how that went.
Well, after a certain event, they no longer encourage my team to join in the playtest. I'm told it's going pretty well. They've got a bunch of blockers. Yeah, I saw on the forums there's a thread right now where they're like, why don't they show us percentages? Because it would be just like a Windows install. We get to 99%, and then we hit 99% for half the time. Because it's all just dealing with unknowns right now.
Yep.
Is it mostly network issues?
It is mostly network issues. There were some animation issues, but I think those are pretty much resolved now. I always watch for like the list of bugs, and it's always just ridiculous things. Like, only eyes appear. Like, everything is great in this build, except you can't connect to a multiplayer match.
I will admit, probably my favorite little bit from, I guess, was it last week's ATV or the week before, was the QA, the top 5 bugs that they've got. That was a great little.
I'll continue that.
One of those this week.
Sweet.
Excellent.
But one of the great things is, so at the end of the day, each respective studio's day, we'll get like a summary of the QA work, and it'll have these. It'll either have like it'll be like watching a rocket ship launch. Each thing has either a check, this was good, or an X, this is where we're blocked. And yesterday it was, everything in the email was green, 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 and I scrolled down, and the last one is multiplayer doesn't work. X.
I guess that might
be
a problem. Maybe.
Now, see, I'm one of the privileged few at INN. Actually, I'm the privileged one at INN that was at PAX East, so I got to play it. And it's still kind of crazy to me, like, seeing the progress even just from PAX to now. Like, even in terms of visuals, how much, like, the bar has been raised.
Yeah, because it's different people working on the visuals, so those people can continue working on their game on schedule, and you're getting more and more of that in the initial release, whereas the networking people are stuck on this or this or this.
Yeah.
Plus, Chris likes to say, okay, well, we have 2 extra weeks for this other issue. Try to do 10 other works a week in that space in terms of graphics. So what you see whenever it is available, hopefully not too long from now, it will look a lot spiffier than it did at PAX.
Awesome.
Well, I know the feeling around INN has pretty much been when it's ready, it's going to be the best time for it to release, not before that. And yeah.
Yeah, we feel the same way, and it's really frustrating to us, seeing, oh my God, why can't we get it out? We want people to see our work. But we know once it happens, it'll be forgotten, and everything will be okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one that I know you've commented on a million times, and I just want you to say again, because lots of people complained that because FPS has been pushed back, everything else is going to be pushed back as well. Can you just...
Yeah, it won't impact everything. Multiplayer code isn't really relevant to the first release of Squadron 42, which is in its own silo, coming along very well. Persistent Universe uses a bunch of assets from FPS, but it's not blocking it at the moment. In fact, I talked to the guys in Austin just late last week, and they said, okay, let us know when you want to put it out, because the Persistent Universe, I keep doing that, exists right now. It just doesn't have many features, and as we go along, as we get later in the year, it'll just have, whenever we decide to put it out and start testing with community, it'll just have more and more and more. So they're pretty separate at this point.
That was like
not that they won't be delayed for their own reasons.
That was like the coolest news.
Yeah.
Was that the Persistent Universe is functioning in some form out there, and that was awesome. Like all of us are like, oh, no way.
Yeah, there's little pocket universes being generated and exploded every day.
Hearing about
That's very sad.
Hearing about all of the work that I guess that Tony Zurovec has been doing on all the different prototyping things.
Yeah, they do a lot of prototyping out there, and he's been a great addition to the project. He's kind of taken leadership over expanding the Persistent Universe experience, just especially working with careers. Once the Endeavor hits, when it does hit, I think you'll see some of the work he's been doing as we talk about the science roles, because it's a lot beefier than anything Chris necessarily intended. So it's going well.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
Can I talk about something that actually means a lot to INN?
Oh, sure.
Please. Yes, please.
The news van.
Yes.
Yep, the streaming-oriented Reliant that's coming.
Yay.
We know that's the one everybody wants to see too. We have that as a priority. So for the next Reliant variant.
I'm not sure if it had anything to do with us, but at INN, when we heard that was a variant, we all kind of went like,
yeah. Heart stopped for like a second.
It's a very good non-verbal way of putting it.
Yeah. Very much a ship. It kind of came about as a reaction to the community and what they do with this game. So I think when we started this back in 11, 12, we had no idea that streaming would be such a big deal, and now we're adapting the game to the situation. I think it's going to be a good way to kind of bring what people do anyway into the gameplay, which is what Chris always tries to do, whether it's seeing the joystick move as you move in Wing Commander 1, or building a total physics simulation of Star Citizen. It's always trying to get rid of that layer between game and reality.
Yeah. And the Reliant's going to be mainly for streamers and stuff. Will there be kind of a role for, I guess, people that do what we do and just news and...
Yeah, information is going to be a big deal inside the Star Citizen universe, and the speed of information, how it transmits, will vary from place to place based on infrastructure. So the Reliant is sort of a tool for a player who wants to increase the speed of that information moving, to get out there and hey, if there's a crisis on this planet, you can report on it, and it's going to change the economy. Is then everybody will know to start bringing whatever that planet needs, or evacuating people, or we want the players kind of to help direct game movements in that way.
So we have a question here from a couple questions actually from Shadow703793 on Reddit. I'm going to ask the second one first, actually. How's the work coming on the economy simulation and design of INNverse Simulator?
As far as I know, it's great. I know they're always playing around with the Hidden Economy board game, and then it was an economy computer simulation. I don't get to see a lot of it because that is all pure Austin work right now, but it's certainly in progress.
I've heard a lot of games actually, like, their mechanics get designed as board games just to, like, give them, like, a jumping off point, because board games are all mechanics. Like, there's no visuals or anything.
Yeah, back in the day, that used to be, even back in the Wing Commander days, that was how you hired a game designer. You would bring somebody from like board gaming. In fact, Wing Commander 1, the guy, Jeff George, who was the kind of lead designer, guy who did all the stats of Wing Commander 1, came from pen and paper gaming and did the stat balance basically on paper without ever playing the game, and it stayed the same through the entire release of the game. He could visualize the ships and know how to balance them against one another without even thinking about it. It's a fantastic skill to have. So yeah, we want to work with a lot of things here too.
So the second question was, any thoughts on doing a 10 for the community team episode?
You know, we always have that impulse, but we also like to involve other people in the process. You know, I would love to get in front of the camera and just answer questions forever, but I want to give the rest of the team their due too. You know, I hate being the guy who decides what the videos are and then putting myself in all of them.
That's understandable.
We try to stay. Someday, I'm sure we will, when the designers and the programmers and the artists are all too busy.
I like how basically Travis and Lisa and Darian have all kind of like dipped a toe into the community team, and they're all kind of like doing their own, like, I love, like, ship shape is like universally like one of the most loved things that has come from ATV in a long time.
Yeah, until it has a component instead of a ship. Then they turn on her.
It's
no,
it's good.
I want to involve everybody in the team who is willing, who wants to be on camera, rather than just my people. I want to give the actual kind of picture of the game as the team. It's a great team that works together really well, and we have so much fun. And those seem like platitudes, but it's totally true. We get along with them really great. And anybody who wants to be a star, we will better them than me.
Sorry, Disco Lando's making funny gestures behind you because
I'm used to it.
Max speeds. I know that there's a lot of.
There's a question here from.
Okay. Go ahead, Eric. Go, Eric.
Right. There's a
will
question
say it
here
now.
from Chad Tidwell. What will large capital ships be doing in the persistent universe?
Kicking a lot of butt.
Like, say, like,
No,
Bengals just floating through space, what would it be doing? Like the
good
day-to-day.
Yeah, a lot of it will be battling other large capital ships. A lot of it will be really boring stuff, like shipping things from one point to another. Something like a Bengal, though, I mean, that's a mobile ship. That's essentially a mobile hangar. So you're all the comforts. You'll have your place to land and repair and recover right there. Of course, they're battleships in their own right. Best way to sink a cruiser is with a destroyer, and so on in that fashion. And then they're also going to be targets, which is something everyone needs.
Persistence has been talked about a little bit, like for ships that big. Like, what is the smallest size of ship that would be persistent? Like, as an example.
I think we're saying the INNverse remains persistent. I may be wrong about that, and I would.
Okay.
And whenever you say anything about the INNverse one way or another, you get you hear about it. But INNverse.
Okay, cool.
When like Arena Commander 2.0 comes out and the maps are larger and stuff, do you think ship speeds will be looked at all?
Yes, they're already being looked at. I think Pete Mackey in Austin is. I don't know if it's necessarily the top speed is the issue or the acceleration curve, but we are working on that.
Awesome.
Chris Roberts understands physics. I do not.
Neither do I.
Me neither. I like shooting stuff. Physics makes it cooler.
So
All right.
we've got 2 questions from Trendane, who is pretty awesome.
Oh, he's great.
We are about to hit the $84 million mark. Will it be twice as cool as the $42 million mark?
I hadn't thought about that. We're kind of hitting a bunch of like weird milestones. Like this is the 1-year anniversary of ATV. We're multiples of 42 showing up all over the place. We will have something appropriate, I think.
I have to admit, on our other podcast, Inside the Verse, we do a weekly a rundown of the funding goals, and last week was the $6 million funding goal with the stretch goal, or the $5.5 million funding goal with the letter from the chairman talking about how $6 million was the most, like the dream of hitting $6 million was the utmost, and I thought that was...
Yeah, it's crazy what's happened since then. No other way to put it.
I actually remember when I first found Star Citizen. I actually found it on the Kickstarter, but even afterwards, I was following it, and I'm like, this game has $6, $7, $8 million. What's happening? And that's about when I backed.
So the second question from Trendane, we've seen art of spacesuits and uniforms and some casual wear and such. Can we expect to see more fashion art soon for the characters?
Yes. One reason you're not seeing so much character art right now is that a lot of the clothing tech right now is squadron specific. So we're building a lot of the tech to actually dress characters and change outfits and everything. But the artwork we're generating right now is mostly, here's their duty uniform, their dress uniform, which we're saving for a little bit later. But yes, you will see a lot more. Actually, there's some artists in Austin. Megan Cheever is one of them who is putting out a lot of. Here's what hairstyles might look like in the future. Here's what boots and dresses and so on. And actually, the great thing about that is we have a tool called Shotgun that's sort of like Facebook for Star Citizen art. So our outsourced people and the other studios all around the world, they put in, they upload whatever they worked on that day, and the rest of the team reviews it. And Chris Roberts always has comments on the fashion stuff. Like, I don't think pants would look like this, or too many buttons on this. And it's amazing how specific it gets.
We did hear a lot about cargo pants, I think, a while ago.
Oh, the cargo pants incident. Yes, Sandy shared Chris's comment about that. He was not fond of the amount of cargo pants he was seeing in the persistent universe.
It's understandable. Nobody likes cargo pants.
Hey, I like cargo
useful.
I'm basically wearing cargo pants right now. I just ignore it. I'm sorry.
This thing.
So we have a pair of questions here from our illustrious co-founder and the behind-the-scenes man on INN, Wolf Larson. And he's a web developer, and you'll notice that right away. What is the overarching strategic goal for the community division of CIG?
Yeah, good question. Just continue to engage the community. It's our responsibility to make sure you guys are informed, to share the game with you, to get the word out. I think I probably mentioned much earlier in the episode, you guys sell Star Citizen a lot better than a magazine or I think it was we were chatting before this, so no one knows what I'm talking about. But yeah, you guys sell Star Citizen better than a magazine or a IGN article or something like that. You know, you're the ones who are sharing your passion and getting it out there to other people, and that's what made the game a success so far, and it's what'll continue to work that way. So our long-term goal is to enable you guys.
Yeah.
Thank you. I guess we'll do the follow-up to that of what metric does Chris use to measure your department's performance, if any?
You know, I don't know. Chris is intensely engaged with the community. Chris knows every single forum thread, and he knows every single crisis when it happens. And he'll rattle them off in meetings like, "Oh man, did you see this thread where the guy shared art of Retaliator variant he made?" And of course, I lie. Yes, of course, I know that. It's like some thread of fan art that got two replies. So he I think he has kind of he's plugged in. He knows the tenor of the community at any time.
I think the most impressive thing that I've heard personally was back when INN was a fair bit newer. Wolf met Chris Roberts at, I guess, PAX, and Chris Roberts said that he'd read the latest, weekly fiction story that went up on INN, and that kind of blew my mind, to be honest.
I used to go to Austin once a year to work on video game archiving stuff, and every year I would see Richard Garriott, and he would give me the same tour of his studio, not remembering me from the year before. And then when I went for the Star Citizen thing, for the initial announcement, I happened to be in Austin with a bunch of my Wing Commander buddies, and we were like, okay, let's go talk to Chris Roberts. He knew every single one of them, down to like, oh, you're the guy who did that GeoCities site in 1999.
Wow.
He has just an astounding memory for that sort of thing.
That's cool.
I promised someone that I'd ask about the ship that was forgotten, the Caterpillar. I'm sorry to have to ask about it, but I did
How
promise
goes the
someone.
Caterpillar?
I have formally requested from production last week at our ship meeting a Caterpillar update.
That will make so many people so happy.
But no,
guys.
we're talking about, we want to show off a little bit more how it works, how it expands, and all that. So we are working on that one.
Awesome. So we have a bunch of questions from Fastcart. And he said him in by email, but he is here live as well. Can you give us more detailed sales numbers, even just roughly, for some of the recent concept sales, such as how each of the hull ships sold?
Not off the top of my head, I'm sorry. If you want to check back with me, if you want to do like a post check-in, I can look up those numbers for you. I know we sold something like 17,000 Reliance, but that's just still in my head 'cause it's the most recent one.
Do you remember which hull came out on top?
I believe it was something I think it was the B. It was something we totally did not call.
Yeah, I think I remember it being the B. That's what I own.
I'm not sure if you've seen it, but every concept sale, after the concept sale ends, Eric Nakara here does a concept sale analysis of numbers and things that I don't really understand because there's math in there, but people really, really enjoy those kinds of things, I guess.
It's right numbers if you'd like. It's one of those things. It's probably interesting less for, hey, here's how much money they made, and more for, hey, here's how many of these things are going to be in the universe when it launches.
Yeah, that's what I was most interested in, and just I like numbers, so unlike Eris over here.
If you find that out, we could talk about it on the podcast.
Oh, sure thing.
Yeah.
So Chris Roberts has said the first song that he'll fly to in the persistent universe will be Danger Zone. An excellent song by Kenny Loggins and an excellent choice. What will be the first song you fly to in the persistent universe? This is again from Fastcart.
Well, I have never thought about that. Hey. I don't know.
Yes, we stumped Ben.
Yes, you stumped Ben.
I
Oh,
think
good
mine's
job,
gonna be
Fastcart.
the entire Interstellar soundtrack.
Hey, it's a good choice.
It has like the wide open, airy space fly feel. In those points
you
where
know-
I'm sure that Pedro's not filling our ears with glorious music, like
You know,
empty
it has
space.
to be the Fat Man Scramble theme to Wing Commander 1. Dun, 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 dun,
Yeah.
dun, 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 that's taking it through.
Nice.
Awesome.
Another excellent choice. I have a question. The Reliant is, well, I guess the Reliant and the Herald are kind of similar-ish, and the Cartual, where they're vertical oriented
Mhm.
instead of like shaped like a boat or a plane or a manta ray.
Yeah, we kind of started that with the red ship in the original campaign.
Yeah.
Everybody liked it. And Chris liked it. Like, okay, maybe this will be a tentative Cheyenne ship design.
Are Xi'an ships typically vertical oriented, like in general?
Yes, some of the larger ones, it's not as apparent, but yeah, that's one of the kind of design traits we want to work for them.
Did you ever play what's that game called? Homeworld?
I never played Homeworld. I played Eric Peterson's version, Conquest.
Oh yeah.
But I know the ship you're thinking of because it was
Yeah.
the special model in the recent re-release, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, yes, I know exactly what you're thinking about, even though I have not played Homeworld.
That, if you ever get the chance, that remake is that robbed me of 50 some hours of my life. I love vertical oriented ships. Like the B-wing is my favorite Star Wars ship. And
It was my favorite too, although I think it's just because they said it was Admiral Ackbar helped design it or whatever, and that stuck with me.
The Reliant's actually a lot like I don't know if you've seen it's the T6 Jedi shuttle from the Clone Wars. Yeah, it's the instant I saw the Reliant, I'm like, it's the T6, except smaller because the T6 is very large.
It does look similar, yeah.
Yeah, because it rotates like that too, and I'm like, yes, I love like you
get
see,
it.
Now
like,
I have to ask David Hobbits if he worked on that one too.
I love seeing like influences in ships. Like I talked to Travis at PAX East, and he was talking about how the Genesis is basically the Floss in Paradise from The Fifth Element.
That's what he keeps calling it. I keep calling it the Orion from 2001. So
Oh yeah, okay.
Nice.
similar concepts. I guess we both
I
have
love
different.
seeing like influences like that in the different ships.
Yeah, we actually used to. With the first wave of ships, when we just did the descriptions, I actually included them in the as like a field in the stats. Like this is kind of like, and it was Wing Commander ships in the Star Wars.
Yeah.
So
A question I'm not sure you'll know the answer to, but you might be able to bring up. For people who are colorblind, any idea when support for that kind of stuff, or if support for that kind of stuff will happen eventually?
I can't say when, but yes, it will. We will definitely have HUD options that make the game playable for folks who are colorblind. We know that's a big deal. It's a tiny percent of the market, but it's definitely something we want to do.
Awesome. Another question I have on like the ships have gotten a pipeline, the character design's gotten a pipeline now. We heard, I guess, back when she was hired from Sherry, the archivist.
Oh yes.
How's that going?
Very, very well. She's in charge of kind of consolidating our lore, getting everything ready for the public-facing Galactopedia. and less excitingly, kind of revamping our internal confluence, which is like the internal wiki that the game is built around in terms of design and milestones and everything. So she has done a fantastic job of cleaning that up, because that was a real mess after kind of like 2 years of abuse. And you'll see some of her lore work a little bit later.
Nice. I'm going to throw you one of those questions that you may or may not be able to answer. Hellcat1337 on Twitch asks, is Squadron 42 still on track for release by the end of the year?
That I do not know the answer to, and it's not because it's not on track. It's just because I wouldn't give out a date if I had one, and I don't have a lot of visibility on Squadron 42. It's one of those things where I could know more, but it would spoil the game for me. I don't want to be the guy who leaks the cast list or the story or any of that. So I try to avoid that. I know I've seen complete missions that they have up and running. I've seen cinematics they have set up, so it's coming along very well. As for the release date, I could not tell you.
In terms of casting, are you planning on doing casting announcements, or is it going to be like a surprise? Like, oh my God, so and so is in Squadron 42.
My understanding is there will be some point probably later in the year where we say, and here's the Squadron 42 cast, and they all probably at one of our events. Can't say which.
Citizen Con.
Starting tomorrow.
Yeah, I almost had the chance to interview Aaron Roberts at PAX East, but then he wasn't able to make it. And I'm like, oh, Foundry 42 is like this column with no windows and we can't see inside or anything. I can't wait to see it. It's going to be awesome.
So, we have another question here from Twitch.
Which is still climbing. There's 161 people now. This is...
Yep.
Wow. Wolfen PDX asks, any news about the Dragonfly, whether or not it's made any progress into actually entering production or concepting?
It is going to happen. It does not have a concept art design yet, but we kind of picked it as our next thing we want to throw to one. So there'll be a wave of concepts that includes probably the new Corvette, the Aspera Prowler, the Dragonfly, and a couple of others I can't talk about yet.
Ooh.
So there is sixth or seventh wave of concept sales coming?
Yeah, I guess I would see this more as kind of like filling some holes. Chris promised a Corvette a while back, so we've got to do that one. Yeah. I think as we looked at the Endeavor, we found a bunch of other ships who wanted to do that would support it, so there's going to be some research-related stuff. No end of ships. But I'm hoping we'll do another formal wave later in the year where you guys vote again.
Awesome.
Cool. Actually, just quickly, Travis mentioned that he was starting to see the need for smaller salvage and mining ships a while back. And do you expect to see that as well?
Yes.
Ooh.
Okay. I like those yes questions. The yes answers, actually.
They're
they're very
hard yeses.
Yes. We appreciate those.
Oh, actually, here's a really interesting one. Sorry, Eris, I don't mean to steal all the questions here.
It's okay.
Our illustrious teammate here, Dolvac, who moderates the subreddit, which is an onerous task, asks, we know we will be able to have an AI crew in the verse, but with boarding mechanics, will they fight to defend the ship?
Absolutely.
If so, how far in depth do you plan to go with squad commands?
I don't know exactly what they have worked out for squad commands. I know they're definitely a Travis question. It is something you'll see. I don't know how it's going to work, though. But yeah, they will defend your ship, and you will give orders to them just like their wingmen. I think it's a lot of the same tech as you use for ordering AI or AI pilots around. So
okay.
I think it's more the interface is the question right now. With a spaceship, it makes sense that you have a communications panel. So one of Chris's big things is no menus that take you out of the game. So you got to figure out how you work that into ordering another person around.
Could that possibly be like a voice command thing?
Quite possibly. I know we've looked at that for some other aspects of gameplay, and actually that runs into the reverse. It doesn't really, a pilot doesn't shout at his ship to fire a missile. He presses a button, so voice command doesn't necessarily work there. So, that might be exactly where it would work. But it's one of those things like if somebody's sitting next to me and I want to tell, because that's the experience you really want. You want that Star Wars, get in the turret, they're on my tail sort of a thing. Keep them off my six. It wouldn't make sense to be like, oh, let me just adjust my Moby-Glass menu to talk to friend, and so you got to figure out a way around that.
One of our new fiction writers over at INN has a question of lore on things like Sata Ball. Will we start getting more lore once FPS is released? And are there any plans to bring back the lore builder that there was at one point where...
Expect to see more lore. It's not FPS holding it back so much as it is the squadron shoot. Dave Haddock, William Weisbaum were both over there doing script stuff. That's a highly technical Hollywood term.
Script stuff.
Script stuff.
So I think you'll see a lot more from them once that particular aspect is over. And yeah, I know they do want to bring back Lore Builder.
Awesome. I had a segment in one of those that was accepted, and I thought it was literally the coolest thing to ever happen. So,
you made the accidental quantum drive.
Yes, that is great.
And that's one of those happy accidents because they started off Lore Builder like, oh, we don't have the bandwidth to write 2 pieces of fiction every week. Let's start building the lore with the community, and just kind of went from there.
Wow.
It turned out really well.
I really know how that feels. I've been writing 2 pieces of fiction a week for INN for a while now, and it's
You finally added more people.
I can barely manage 2 a month for Jump Point. So you have my.
It's okay. Mine aren't very good. Yours are. So.
Oh, shush, Eris.
Oh, jeez. So Hellcat1337 asks another interesting question is how big is the Foundry 42 Germany team now in terms of number of people?
I want to say it's around 20-25 right now, so it's still on the small side versus more like 120 in the UK. I don't have the exact numbers though.
They're moving into a new studio, right? At some point.
They are. They're in temporary space right now. I don't know that they found a studio yet, but they are looking.
Oh yeah. How's your new studio?
We were over there last week. It has no walls or anything right now, but it's going to be cool once we're there. Then I'll have my own office, so I don't have to cover up Lando's screens in back of me.
Did the chair question ever get settled? Because I know that there was a chair work going on.
I believe it was deferred to Ortwin, our founder/lawyer, and he made the ultimate call on the chairs. There was about a week here where there were 3 sample chairs were floating around the office and they disappeared. So I suspect that when they disappeared, that was when it was solved.
Any news on the next commercial? It's been a while since the last ship commercial, and I think the next one's supposed to be the Retaliator.
Retaliator is the next big ship commercial. It's not in production yet. It has a script, and it's basically waiting for bandwidth. One thing we did early on with the commercials was train up our in-house artists, who then went to Squadron 42. So don't have as many people available who can do a cool ship commercial right now. And we get to the point where it's like, okay, should we farm this out to somebody else or should we just wait? And right now we're kind of in a holding pattern on those. We love them too. We want to see more of them. There definitely will be more. The Retaliator script is great. The Avenger script is great. They just need talented Crytek or CryEngine folks to create them.
They're busy making our wonderful single-player game, so I mean, guys, which would you rather have?
From a
personally
marketing
would rather have
standpoint, I'd
Scotch
love to have
Bonnet.
some of those commercials, but we'll do without them until we have artists who are good.
Actually, that's a question. Is marketing going to be ramping up at all? I mean, most of the marketing's been, I guess, keeping it. I mean, not really doing too much, right?
When would
Is-
you
I don't
see
think
it?
I don't think you'll see a huge change in formal marketing. We like working with the community more than anything else. We have a second formal marketing person now. We have Alyssa Del Hotel, who's just a fantastic marketing producer. And she's getting stuff done internally, organizationally, but I don't think you'll see a huge change. We're not going to be on bus stops
Lord.
or
Lord of the Sith.
TV commercials or anything like that anytime soon.
She showed up in INN comments. It was pretty cool.
She's really good.
So-
He's gonna mess us up.
Kind of along those lines in the universe, Nides asks, will we be able to create our own billboard screens for the Hull series billboards?
Absolutely. That was one of the reasons we wanted to show those off.
That's
in the
awesome.
commercial.
That's going to be great. So Hull owners can charge organizations to advertise on their ships.
Yes, they can.
And they charge
That's awesome.
like NPC organizations like Origin.
Yep. We kind of want an NPC system where there's in-universe advertisements that would naturally want spread around the universe. So it's just like taking a mission in that respect.
Okay.
Awesome.
Cool.
This isn't a question. It's more of just a statement. But Devilfish Jack says, "Thanks for doing events like this, Ben, and thanks for working hard on these interviews, INN." We don't really do much, but
just
seriously, Ben,
asked.
thank you for. Yeah, thank you for.
It's all Ben.
Well, I'm always happy to do stuff like this. So if you're out there, you're running a podcast, and you think, "Oh, I'm too small to get them to notice me," you're not. Just say, "Hey, we'll come on and chat, and I'll be back here whenever they'll have me."
Every week?
Pretty much like the spot's always open, Ben. Just come on the show.
I'll see if I can get you some better people too, and get Travis and
We'd love that.
whoever else.
That'd be fantastic.
I had a great time chatting with Travis at PAX, so I'd love to talk to him.
I'm really, really hoping that come CitizenCon, one, I can get tickets, and two, I plan to fly there with my sound guy who actually lives in my basement. And
That's convenient.
it is. He actually came up just before we started and fixed my mic because it wasn't working.
Mr. White
But,
is a golden god.
He
Makes our
is.
podcast sound so good.
He's amazing. But I'm hoping to get some interviews at CitizenCon if there's anyone there that has time. But
I'm
that's
sure we can get. Yeah, I think CitizenCon will have every single person who works in the UK office, which is 120 or so, 125, somewhere around there. So there'll be plenty of people to chat with.
I will interview them all.
What's the QA guy's name up there who does the Spectrum report almost every week? He's like
Is it
super
Pat-
energetic. He's amazing.
Patrick or Michael?
He's awesome.
I don't remember, and I should know because I transcribe it every week, but
Yeah. I would love to just sit down and talk to him for a few minutes to just make me feel energized about everything.
Sour SC asks, Ben, what kind of scotch do you like? Do you like scotch?
I do like some scotch. I'm not a fancy scotch person. Just like a VAT 69 or something is fine with me.
Actually, weird question. I guess about a year ago, one of my good friends from my city sent CIG a Christmas present of some Canadian maple whiskey. I'm assuming that never actually arrived, did it?
Maple whiskey?
Maple whiskey.
I don't recall that one. I know we got maple syrup from Canada at one point, which was surprisingly
Canadian
delicious. I didn't know syrup could be that good.
Imagine that, but in an alcohol form.
Well, now I'm sorry I never saw that.
Well, I'll bring it down when I come down to Texas later in the year.
It's our tradition to give CIG
Actually,
guys alcohol when we see them.
That would be a great question to ask right now, Eris.
There's two good questions to ask right now, actually.
So, Ben, Sandy said during the Christmas live stream, and we haven't really heard much about it since, but she said on December 12th, 2015, there would be a big event in Austin. And we haven't really heard about it since. Is that still planned, or?
Probably. Our events have changed over the year, but there will definitely be an end-of-year event. I'm fairly sure it'll be Austin. I'll have to check with her, see what she's thinking.
Awesome. Thanks.
Also,
one of the nice things about an event in Austin is that we don't have to reserve some venue somewhere, which also lets us change our plans.
Right.
Yeah.
But I would certainly I love Austin, and I would love to go back at that time of year. So
we've been planning an INN meetup at the same time because we're all spread out over the country. But I think it was Sandy as well who said at one point there might be a thing in Montreal coming up in like a month or so. But
that is hold for a moment. Okay. It will still happen. We were going to do kind of an event around the map release. They're doing a little bit, changing the flow for that a little bit, but you'll see it a little bit later this year.
Excellent. That's actually good because I was going to be in Iceland in July, and I would hate to miss it. Where I'm 2 hours from Montreal, so.
You should be good.
So we have a question from Hellcat1337, which I think everyone would love to see. Yeah, he's got lots of good ones here. When will we get the next design post? Of great interest to me.
That is a very good question. I would like to know the answer to it.
Is it going to be the Pioneer one?
That will probably come with the Endeavor. So nice. A little bit later for that one. We have a couple that are close to done, and it's just a matter of getting design time to say, yes, this is the system. So my guess is that probably not this week or maybe not next week, but after that you'll see a couple in a row.
Okay. Are we allowed to know what's on the table for those? It'll be a surprise as to which one it is, but...
Yeah. No, I better dodge that question.
Oh.
That's okay.
I know there's one about the Vandal fleet. We want to start introducing the other ships. That's waiting on a bunch of art. There's an alien language one.
I can't wait for that.
David Linney isn't happy with yet. Okay. It's a lot like Star Marine. A lot of 99% is just waiting for that last blocker.
You don't have to get into much detail with it, but Squadron 42 is going to be its own thing, and then there's going to be, I guess, 2 episodes after it as kind of expansions, right? Are those planned out, or...?
They're planned out narratively and kind of production-wise, so we know what resources we need for them. We know what story we want to tell. We have, I think there's a script for the second one, and the third one's just beats right now. It's essentially if Chris in 1990 went into Wing Commander saying, "Okay, I know I'm going to do a trilogy of games, and here's how that will go." So it's not the case that like production has begun on any of them, or money has been given to them. They are just after Squadron 42, this is the next thing that Cinematics team will work on.
Right. Sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, they're all much bigger. I think originally we said Behind Enemy Lines was going to be like an expansion pack. We wanted it to be like a reward for backers, and now it's kind of formed the basis for the second big story.
In that, will backers still get that second? Because it was one of the. Okay.
Yeah, essentially everybody who has that stretch goal will get Squadron 42 2 for free.
Cool. Yay.
They're not you pay for it, but.
Well, yeah. Has there been any progress on the procedural generation for planets and landing zones and all that?
I have seen work they've done in Austin kind of show up on our Shotgun site. I've seen like planetary terrain that's been generated and randomized landing spaces. I don't know if any of it's quite ready for prime time yet, but it's definitely still in the experimentation phase.
Awesome. A while ago, I think it was Travis. Actually, my memory's gone, but a long time ago, there was a kind of a plan for the year of release schedules. Is that something you guys will ever do again, or have we decided to?
Not.
Okay, good.
I'm okay
good.
with that.
Yes, please don't.
Yes, it's. I hope not. I'll leave it at that.
Okay, good. Thank you. As much as we would love it, it makes it easier to work with people when. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so
People are
another.
grumpy.
Yes.
Wolf has a good question in the Google chat.
What is
Yes. A Santa Monica question for Ben: Cha-Cha chicken or Pono burger?
The burger. I have had Pono burger. I've never had Cha-Cha chicken. I'm Atkinsing right now, so I can only eat chunks of meat. But burger sounds great.
I won't ask about poutine then.
Oh, you and your
that seems
poutine.
odd.
What? That I'm not talking about poutine? I am
You always
Canadian.
talk about
It's-
poutine.
I can't help it. It
Canada
actually
pride
hurts
showing.
me that there are people out there that haven't eaten poutine. So
Poutine is what got my wife to stop being a vegetarian 2 years ago. So
Wow.
see everyone out there, poutine has
amazing.
powers.
So here's an interesting one from RHA. Question is, with the Freelancer and the Idris getting significant increases in size, making them larger targets, will their guns and shields possibly increase in size as well?
absolutely. And actually, I was just talking to Lando today. He was pointing out, we got some new Idris art internally, which we will share with you guys as soon as we possibly can. He was like, the Idris getting bigger also made the railgun much, much larger. And I was like, yep, it did. So
I guess the freelancer's gotten a bit bigger too, hasn't it?
I have heard that rumor too. I haven't seen the updated.
It was actually in the Grabby Hands design post.
Yeah, I saw. I haven't actually seen it bigger. I don't know how. I don't know how much bigger. Just I know that it has changed a little bit. Because one of the things we kind of formalized the cargo is, wait a minute, this freelancer doesn't actually do cargo like it's supposed to. So for that, it's much more of a balance thing. For the Idris getting bigger, it's more of a narrative thing. So I think the freelancer pretty much handle the same. We'll just adapt it so it works. Larger
Dude,
cargo.
you probably know this, but did the ramp ever get its collision yet?
Actually, if you
Maybe.
open the ramp and stand on the very edge and then close the ramp, you can jump onto the top of the freelancer and hang out on the top of the freelancer.
Hey,
I've spent a lot of
knowledge from
time on my
Eris.
freelancer.
I'm trying to get a gray cat in there.
So, I have a question. It's kind of related to one of the other questions that was asked, but no, it's a little different. Do you have any thoughts on when we might see another stretch goal? Because I thought, we were talking about there possibly being more, and 100 million's on the horizon. So,
We will do more stretch goals. Chris wants to do it when they make sense, when there's actually something we want to say we need. Because sometimes it would be tough with the Yogo, something interesting each point. We kind of ran out of, hey, what else do we want this game to do? But, by around like 75 million or so, we got to the point where okay, there are things we would love to have more money to do, but they're never going to be $1 million goals, like atmospheric flight or that sort of thing.
$40 million goals.
Yeah. So yes, when they make sense, you'll see them. We'll definitely do some more like rewards and things as we hit the kind of big numbers, 90, 100, whatever we get to. But as for like practical effects on the game, it'll be as it happens. I don't think it'll even come with a particular million. I think it would be just Chris come out and saying, okay, we found this amazing new kind of mocap suit that we need $500,000 for, or something like that, and we would share it with you in that way.
Awesome. So we've actually gone over the time we're supposed to do this for, and I want to thank Ben for staying on for a bit longer than we told you originally. Do you have time for just a few more questions before we wrap things up? Or
yeah, why not?
Okay. Do you know anything about how the team is going to be dealing with Windows 10 upgrade and DirectX 12 and all that?
I do not know officially. I know we will be dealing with it, but other than that, I don't. It will support Windows 10. We will support Windows 10 and DirectX, whatever the latest one is. I still think the DirectX 3 being the fancy ones, the new ones. So I am bad at technology.
The monthly update talked a bit about AI improvements. Has there been any talk about the ability to, say, rob NPCs, or any talk about the looting mechanic at all?
Yes, there has. Robbing NPCs and vice versa is something they are doing the persistent universe side. One impact that Tony has had that I think you'll see once you see more of the PU is that he's added a lot more granularity to what's going on planet side. You know, at one point it was just, here's an open world, do whatever you want, the real game's in space. Now there's a lot more kind of traditional non-spaceship quests, which involves things like looting and robbing and all that. You'll see more of that later in the year.
I'm very curious as to see like how, it's like in typical RPGs, like you have a loot menu that pops up. Is there going to be a fancy mobiGlas version of a loot menu, or?
No, again, that's another one of the same thing as before. You know, it probably isn't looting software you have in your mobiGlas in the universe. There has to be some other way.
How is the mobiGlas coming, actually? I spoke with Behavior a few months ago now, in February or so, and I think Behavior are awesome, and I'm just wondering how the mobiGlas is doing.
Coming along very, very well. I think there was some of it in the leak, but there's a much more recent one too. So, getting pretty happy with the UI. Yeah.
Actually, I did have a personal question I wanted to ask.
Oh, sure.
We heard that Lando turned into water and, leaked out of the building. Did you guys bring him back with sponges or buckets, or like how did you collect him? And
well, you create a vacuum in the room and you freeze, and then.
Leeks are pretty good in a beef stew.
I actually had some leek and potato soup today for lunch.
Sounds amazing.
It was really good. Like leeks and potatoes, which apparently, I don't know if anyone else knows this, but apparently potatoes are what you call things that are ugly, and I don't get that because potatoes are beautiful.
I've seen that on the internet, and they're delicious.
I know. They make some of the best foods. Sorry. I'm sorry.
I've got a very important question. I think that Empire Report needs a competitor because they can't monopolize the space, and the Imperial News Network will gladly operate from Earth. And yeah, in INNverse we already have a fleet of Reliance and Heralds just ready.
We will talk.
Here's kind of an interesting one.
Okay,
like
one
Terra
more,
more,
and I think
but,
we should probably wrap this up. What do you guys think?
That sounds good.
Yeah.
We have one more from Arch Henny. Asks, are we going to be able to customize interiors to the level of changing the carpet and the coasters?
Coasters.
Speaking of which,
yes, coasters.
For the audience out there, coasters.
I'm sorry.
That is what we want to do by the end of this, is have that sort of because the very first variant we ever did was the Fancy Aurora,
Yeah.
And
That one.
the thing that really sold it was the fact that it came with leather seats.
Yeah.
So we
Yep.
want that granularity to that level where you say, okay, I'm going to change the material the seat's made of, or I'm going to change the carpet on this larger ship. It's down the road a bit, but that's what we're going for.
Yeah, it's
So
like
you're saying that we can
grabbing
create
ones.
like we can create like a 70s version of the Aurora with orange shag carpet?
Oh, you haven't seen the new Phoenix yet?
Hey, if the
Uh-oh.
as
Look out. No, don't do it. Don't do it, Disco.
oh no, no,
Don't do it, Disco.
no, we have proof, Disco. It's on the internet.
He's holding you hostage, Ben. I'd watch out.
And with that, I think we're gonna end the show.
Yeah, Ben, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you so much for joining us, Ben. It was a
Oh, sure
pleasure.
thing.
To
I
everyone
appreciate it.
watching, be sure to check out imperialnews.network for
Yeah.
all your news and transcripts and stuff that we do, because we do a lot of stuff.
Let the community team that we'd love to have them all on here at some point. So
Absolutely, we can make that happen, and we'll get some other folks from the office here at least.
yeah,
And thank you guys for having me on. I really appreciate everything you do. You guys probably know that back before Star Citizen, I ran WingCommanderNews.com, and nothing reminds me of the stuff I used to do than the stuff you guys do now. So thank you for
Thank you so much.
That is one of the nicest things anyone's ever said. So thank you.
Thank you very much.
thank you
Thank
so
you,
much.
guys.
Thank you, everyone on the
We
Twitch.
like
Alright
you.
guys, we're out of here. Thank you
We're
so
out.
much.
Thank you. Goodbye. Goodbye, everybody.
Yes. Yes. Bye, Twitch.